Well, we've got another trade recap video. In this video, we're looking at the Penguins go off as they absolutely embrace the seller mode and they make 4 interesting deals that we touch on in this video. The Jets add a couple of pieces in this video, and the Devils also are included in this video as well, making a couple of interesting moves. We'll touch on all 6 deals we're talking about that happened on trade deadline day coming up right now. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here at the End-to-End Hockey Channel. Now before we begin this video, don't forget to like this video and subscribe below. Thank you for all of your support. Would never be able to do this without all of you guys, so if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe button down below. Really does help with the channel. We're on the road to 500 subscribers, so if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button down below. Don't forget to comment down in the comment section below, something all discussed in today's video. And if you haven't already, check out my live stream. I touch on all the trade stuff that happened on the trade deadline. It's on my YouTube channel on the live tab, so definitely don't forget to stay tuned for that. Check it out if you haven't already. But in today's video, we're looking at 6 trades that happened before the trade deadline. There were a whole bunch of them. 4 of them involved the Pittsburgh Penguins, as the Penguins were embracing the seller mentality. The Jets have added a couple of pieces in 2 of the deals we're talking about here today, and the Devils are also incorporated in a couple of deals. So we'll touch on all of these trades coming here. We'll start with the 4 trades that the Pittsburgh Penguins made, all embracing the seller mentality. So first, which was actually the first trade of trade deadline day, the Penguins made an interesting move, trading Anthony Beauvillier to the Washington Capitals for the Capitals' 2025 second-round pick. Smart move there from the Penguins. Beauvillier was signed to a 1-year deal in the offseason. So far this year, I think he's only had like 20 points in 50 games. Like, he's not having an overly bad season, but it's not anywhere close to the 40-point season he had just 2 years back. So they wind up giving him a fresh start in Washington. He'll most likely be a 3rd liner, maybe a 4th line forward. Will be able to sort of help round out, give them some depth scoring in the bottom 6, which is a smart move there from the Capitals. Didn't want to tinker too much with that roster because it's doing so well right now, but I think they want to add some more depth to that team. So Beauvillier, 3rd line forward, 4th line forward, can put you up some goals at some points. He showed that in the playoffs a handful of years back with the Islanders, so that's a smart move there from Washington. But for the Pittsburgh Penguins, man, that's a good return. A 2nd-round pick for a bottom 6 forward. That's a great pickup there for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So it's a 2nd-round pick this year's draft, so really good stuff there to add some more draft capital. Then the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Winnipeg Jets hooked up on a deal. The trade is as follows. The Jets acquired Luke Schenn from the Penguins for a 2026 second and 2027 4th-round pick, both the Winnipeg Jets. So interesting trade here. I talked about this after Luke Schenn was dealt to Pittsburgh. I thought there was a very likely chance the Penguins would flip him because I didn't think they would just try and acquire him just to keep him, even though he's a solid veteran guy. So they flipped him here to Winnipeg. Winnipeg, they were looking for some defensive upgrades, wanted another top 4 defenseman who could work in that lineup. Luke Schenn's going to be a pretty dang good addition there for the Jets. Has this year and next year left on his contract at $2.75 million. So he's not going to be just a rental. He's going to be for another year too. So really good stuff there. It's going to bolster Jets blue line for their playoff run, and it's going to help them next year when they're probably going on another playoff run too. So that's an interesting pickup there for the Jets. For the Penguins, it's another couple of draft picks. The 2026 second rounder, 2027 4th rounder. It's a 2nd-round pick in not this upcoming draft, but the year after. And it's a 2027 4th-round pick, so it's a pick 2 years down the road. So at that point, not sure how the Jets are going to be doing at that point. Most likely it'll probably be lower end 2nd and 4th-round pick, but still, you never know. And maybe those are going to be higher level picks for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So interesting out there, but they get some more draft capital. They also made a trade with the New Jersey Devils. This was a trade I was not expecting. Like Luke Schenn, he was 37th on my trade bait list, and Anthony Beauvillier, I think he was 38th on my trade bait list. So 2 of the guys who are on my end-to-end hockey trade bait list in Pittsburgh wound up getting dealt. A guy who was not on my trade bait list is Cody Glass. Glass, as well as Jonathan Gruden, were dealt in a package to New Jersey in exchange for Chase Stillman, Max Graham, and a 2027 3rd-round pick. So this is a really good haul as well for the Penguins. Cody Glass, he's going to go into New Jersey. He's going to be their 3rd or 4th line center. Once again, not having an overly great season. I think he has like 17 points this year. It was just a little bit more better than last year in Pittsburgh, but he's not working out overly well at the NHL level right now. So I think it should be a solid bottom 6 center ad for the New Jersey Devils. Devils also get Jonathan Gruden, who's only played a handful of games at the NHL level, mostly AHLer at this point in time. Could be a call-up option if the Devils run into some injuries, which they already have. So interesting note there, but the Devils get Glass, get Gruden. Not too much huge subtractions there from the Penguins. Like Glass had the final year of his deal. I think it was UFA at the end of the year or RFA. Wasn't really thinking with Pittsburgh anyway, so probably would have walked away in free agency anyway. Move off of Gruden, who I don't think was an overly significant piece for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They get 3 young pieces in this deal. They get Chase Stillman, who was a 27th overall pick in the 2021 draft. Isn't doing overly well in the AHL so far this year for New Jersey's AHL affiliates. He did a lot better last year, but still, he's a former first-round pick, only 21 years old, and I think eventually could be a solid middle 6'4" there, so that's a really stellar pickup there for the Penguins. They also get Max Graham, who was a 3rd-round pick back in the 2024 draft this past year. Currently has no NHL contract, so he's going to need a new deal in the off-season or at some point to become an NHL level player, but Graham looks like he could eventually be a solid maybe 3rd or 4th line center there for the Penguins, so another pretty good pickup there. And they get the Devils 2027 3rd-round pick, so pretty good pickup there once again. Another pick that's pretty dang far into the future, so not sure how Jersey's going to be at that point in time, but they do get some more draft capital to add to their pool. And the last trade that we saw Pittsburgh get was actually them adding a couple pieces, and that's Connor Dewar and Connor Timmins from Toronto for a 2025 5th-round pick, their own. So they do move out what will probably be, wound up being at least a high 5th-round pick, given the fact it's in this year's draft. They get Connor Dewar, they get Connor Timmins, and needed stopgap options for this year to finish out the season. Both are in the final year of their deals. Both are making just over $1 million. Timmins actually played the most games of his career this year, putting up 51 games of NHL action, having 2 goals and 8 points. He should be a serviceable 3rd, maybe spare defenseman there for the Penguins to finish out the season. Connor Dewar, he's definitely suffered some injuries this year. Only has, I think, like 5 or 6 points, which is nowhere close to where he had the past couple of seasons. And he's been injured quite a bit this year. So hopefully in Pittsburgh, these 2 guys can get some playing time, especially with the Penguins moving off so many pieces. And maybe they get some opportunities to show that they can be solid players. And I think Dewar is an RFA this year. Timmins is a UFA. I'll have to wait and see if those are true or not, but they're both younger players. I wouldn't be surprised if they did well. They stuck around in Pittsburgh beyond this year, so interesting note there. And it only cost them a 5th-round pick. Like, it cost the Maple Leafs a 4th-round pick to get Dewar last offseason, so only a 5th-round pick to get Dewar and Timmins is not overly egregious there for the Penguins. So Penguins have a pretty good deadline here, making a few moves. Move off of Luke Schenn, move off of Anthony Beauvillier, move off of Cody Glass and Jon Gruden, and they do deal 2025 5th-round pick, but in exchange, a solid stopgap forward in Connor Dewar who can play top 9 minutes, a solid 3rd pair defenseman in Connor Timmins. They get a solid young prospect in Chase Stillman, a solid young prospect in Max Graham. They get a 2025 2nd-round pick, a 2026 2nd-round pick, a 2027 3rd-round pick, and a 2027 4th-round pick. So all in all, pretty good moves from the Penguins. I think they do win the Stillman deal because I do think Stillman and a 3rd-round pick for Glass is a brilliant piece of work there from Kyle Dubas. I do think they win the Schenn and Beauvillier deals because getting 2nd-round picks for those 2 players is a brilliant piece of work there from Kyle Dubas. I do think the Leafs probably do win the Dewar and Timmins deal, but I do think they will get some solid players here. So interesting note there. We also saw 2 other trades take place. One involving the Kraken and the New Jersey Devils. The trade is as follows. The Kraken acquired the Devils' 2026 7th-round pick for Daniel Sprong. So this is an interesting swap there. Sprong has been bouncing around, signed in Vancouver in the offseason, was then dealt to Seattle. Hasn't really worked out overall at NHL level. Has, I think, 2 goals and 5 points in like 20 NHL games. Like, he has not worked out overly well at the NHL level this year, but he does have 25 points in 19 AHL games for Seattle. So he's going to be definitely a possible call-up option. Wouldn't be surprised if he got into NHL action for the Devils in like a bomb 6 role. So that's an interesting pickup there. It's a small move. Kraken just gives Sprong a fresh start, and hopefully he can do well in New Jersey. When it comes to the draft pick they got, it's a 7th-round pick, not in this year's draft, but next year. So a very late round draft that the Kraken are going to get a draft pick in, and not this year's draft, but next year. It's not overly important pick, but they do get a little bit more draft capital. So interesting note there. I do think that the Devils win this deal because I do think Sprong has the capabilities of being a solid bomb 6 forward. So interesting note there, but the Kraken do deal Daniel Sprong to the Devils in exchange for a 2026 7th-round pick. And the last deal talked about in this video also involved the Winnipeg Jets, and that was between the Jets and the Seattle Kraken. And this trade is as follows. The Seattle Kraken acquire a 2027 2nd-round pick from the Winnipeg Jets in exchange for Brandon Tanev. Now Tanev, I think, has like 17 points this year, which isn't overly surprising. Like, he had 35 points 2 years ago for Seattle, but that seems to be sort of an anomaly. He's a really solid guy. He's 33 years old in the final year of his contract. He's going to be a pending UFA. Very likely chance I think he'll walk as UFA. I don't feel like the Jets will probably bring him back. Tanev is a really really skilled bottom six forward, heart and soul type of guy, really good guy to have in their locker room. So I do think this is a really good pickup there for the Jets, given the fact they're the league leaders right now in the NHL. So getting a solid bottom six forward who's a good locker room ad, I think will be a beautiful fit there for the Jets. They do move off a 2027 second round pick, which is a steep asking price, but I do think Tanev is going to be a really solid bottom six forward ad for the Jets. For the Kraken, weren't going to keep around Tanev. There's a very likely chance with the high demand and the seller's market and things like that, they could get a really solid return for Tanev. Now Tanev had been there since year one. Tanev was an original Kraken expansion pick, so to see him go is a little bit heartbreaking for Seattle Kraken fans, but like I said, I think Tanev was probably not going to re-sign in Seattle, and I think giving him the fresh start is a pretty good move there for the Kraken. And they do get a second round pick in return, which I do think makes them the winner of this deal, because the second round pick for a bottom six forward, just like Beauvillier in Pittsburgh, I think is a really good and smart move for the Seattle Kraken. So all in all, those are all the trades we're going to talk about in this video. Gonna have a couple more coming out over the next little while, talking about some more other trades that we saw on trade deadline day. But today's video, we saw Pittsburgh deal Luke Schenn to Winnipeg, deal Anthony Beauvillier to Washington, deal Cody Glass to New Jersey, acquire Connor Dewar and Timmins from Toronto. We saw Daniel Sprong be dealt from Seattle to New Jersey, and we saw Brandon Tanev be dealt by Seattle to Winnipeg. So definitely some interesting trades there. That's all I'm going to talk for today. Love to hear your guys' thoughts on who you think won these deals down in the comment section below. That's all I want to talk for today. Remember to like this video. If you're not to subscribe below. Thank you all your support. We know to without you guys. So if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe button down below. Don't forget to comment down in the comment section below, listing all the stuff in today's video. Also the blog, to news, rumors, analysis. If that's so check that out. I'll link that down in the description below. And can't wait to see you guys all for the next videos. Stay tuned. Keep up to date. I'll see you guys all next time. See you guys soon.